Alrighty then. How am I looking? Got the hat on. Hair looks like shit. Let's give it a go. Hopefully I've filmed this in the right ratio today. Amateur hour, first one, filmed it in the wrong bloody ratio. Hello and welcome. You join me for making lunch and also the intro to today's video. Now, I wanted to make this video to give you an idea of what really kept me stuck every year in terms of trying to get in the best shape of my life. I always wanted abs. I also played sport. I wanted to improve my performance, and I went about it all wrong almost every year. So I feel like a lot of people end up in a very similar boat, still struggle with it. And how I live my life now makes me feel so much better. And I feel so much better about myself, my relationship with food, my performance. So I'm going to cook my lunch and then we're going to go through how I've done that. And obviously I want the same for you. So let's get into it. We got a bloody lovely Wednesday. Got the big guy down there just sunbathing. We've got a little mix on. John Summit live in Bali. Whoa. Let's have some lunch and let's put the world to rights, shall we? Let's have a go. So another reason why I actually really wanted to make this video, just second piece. Sorry, John. Sorry. Obviously, we're coming up towards summer now, and everyone's going to go about trying to get their abs, trying to look the best for their photo in Ibiza or whatever it is that you're doing. And that is obviously where I kind of went wrong each year, and I kind of fucked it up each year, and then it ruined my performance. It ruined how I felt about myself. And quite often, I just felt like I was just skinny fat after a few drinks. So we're going to tackle it today. It's the key part. Let's learn how to do it properly. Let's learn how to stay in shape all year round and fucking feel good about ourselves, yeah? So quick little background about myself for those that don't know. I was actually chubby in school and I always had the ability to be able to eat a lot. Typically, the binging was something that I found easy and just thought was normal. And that's really what kept me stuck, was constantly sort of underfeeding, underfueling myself, and then causing myself to then break willpower and binge. And when I was trying to perform better in rugby and obviously look better because inside I was still that little chubby kid, it just messed me up. I didn't get very good results. I felt really underwhelmed with my body and performance. Please, step into my office. So, welcome. This is post-workout, by the way. Okay, so what we're going to talk about. Let's get into it. I'll tell you a little story first about why it's important. It's important because one time when I thought I did a really good cut and I thought I was in the best shape of my life to go away to Salou, to go to Spain with one of my good friends at the time. And I thought I got absolutely shredded. Like, I was training relentlessly. I was fasting. I was doing everything that I thought was right. And we went away. And the first night, as you do, you have a few beers on the beach, loving life, having a great time. And I got back to the hotel, and the hotel had like this, I'll never forget it. It's a cake. It was free for anyone at the front. I was a little bit of a dick when I was drunk, when I was younger. As opposed to now I'm older, I'm a dick when I'm sober. But there was a little cake at the front, cut into slices and everything, and it had little cherries on top, and it was absolutely ridiculous. It was so good. And I ended up taking the whole cake with me. Back up to the room, we were both pissing ourselves because we thought it was hilarious that I just stole the cake that was actually free for anyone. So it was pretty stupid. Got back up to the room, ate the cake, then went back down, got some snacks from the vending machine, went back upstairs, had the food, a couple more beers. All right, lights out, go to bed. Next day, what are we going to do? We're going to walk around the local places with our tops off because we're idiots, and also going to go to a water park. Now, I remember getting ready that day, feeling pretty rough anyway. But then my mate goes to me, "What happened?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Genuinely, what happened? You had abs yesterday." And that absolutely broke me. And he took a photo of me and he said I looked like Nate Diaz. And that just absolutely killed me. Nate Diaz, brilliant fighter, absolute dog, but not someone you want to aspire to look like in terms of body. And, you know, no disrespect to Nate, but I didn't want to be looking like Nate on holiday. I wanted to look like nice, chiseled, good shape. And reality was that after all the drinks and all the shit food, I just ended up looking skinny fat because I just
lost quite a lot of muscle in the cut. I'd lost quite a lot of strength, just trying so hard to get abs, and I just had the wrong approach. So we're going to go through it today. Now, let's give you some value, shall we? Let's go through it. So I'm going to give you a couple of approaches, two approaches. The way I did it, and the way that used to fuck me up, and the way that you can be doing it now, and the way that I would do it now, and the way that I do live it now, and the way I do it with my clients. And look, it's all just advice, but when we play it out and have a look at person A and person B, and you get to know that I've done it with myself and I feel great in myself, and then also my clients now have got insane results, worked with over hundreds and hundreds of people that have now got great bodies that they're confident in, and also the performance to match. You can take their word for it as well, and there's loads of things on my Instagram about all their successes. So let's get into it. I'm going to jump on the whiteboard, give you a couple of stickman drawings. As a visual learner, this helps me a lot, and it creates some good contrast between my old approach and the current new approach that I use for myself and clients. Person A, person B. You can decide for yourself which is better in the approach to dropping body fat and getting in the best shape of your life and then maintaining it. Person A, 1,000 calorie deficit, fasted cardio, or generally just fasting until about 1 o'clock, surviving off caffeine alone. Black coffee, may I add. Gym sessions, 5 to 6 per week, along with those cardio sessions as well, and playing their sport 2 to 3 times per week. Along with that, they're going to be cutting out foods. They're going to be getting rid of any quote-unquote bad foods that are going to throw them off or put on any bit of fat that gets them off of their journey, of their quest of getting abs. Person B, slightly different approach. We're going to go with 500 calorie deficit to start off with. If you're not sure on how to get this calorie deficit, by the way, I have done a Lean for Life nutrition guide that explains how to get this and how you can start to implement this in your life. And it has a calorie calculator on there, it has meal examples, it has the whole works. It will be in the description. So person B, they eat before they train. They're never going to train fasted. They're always going to fuel their sessions. Why? Because they're an athlete and they want to perform well. That is priority number 1. Gym 3 to 4 times per week on a structured program that actually takes into account their life. They play sport 2 to 3 times a week, and then they eat anything but within reason. And what I mean by this is that you're basically eating like an adult. The 80-20% approach isn't the whole 5 days of eating really clean and 20 days eating whatever you want. That doesn't really work. It's 80% of whole, non-processed, high nutrient dense foods, and then 20% of pretty much whatever you want that's going to keep you on track. That little 20%, which can be, some crisps through the day, a bit of chocolate with your meal or whatever it is, that can be the little thing that just keeps you consistent with your diet and doesn't throw you off and stops you from binging and stops you falling into that vicious circle like that person A would fall into. So let's see how this plays out in a week format so you can sort of understand and see where the demise comes from, where the downfall comes from. Now, person A, Monday to Sunday, let's have a look and see what they do. Typically, like we said, low calories, starting off very low, and they're going to be bringing those calories down. Obviously, they're going to be into their deficit more and more. So you see the deficit line coming down. Then they're going to get to that fuck it moment, typically on the weekend, or to be honest, it used to be whenever with me, but when any sort of temptation came in, it would spike their calories up massively. Okay, so they would fail, or in their minds they would fail, and then massively spike up the amount of calories because they'd end up binging, and then their calorie average sort of across the week was either maintenance or just below or just over. Person B keeps the 20% of those foods in, doesn't binge, doesn't feel the need to say fuck it all the time because they're not being over restrictive, and their calorie deficit line just continues to gradually go down, and they keep chipping away and making small wins. If we were to look at how person A is feeling when it comes to their success, a lot of the time they're going to feel like they're failing because they're just constantly starting over again. They're constantly over restricting and then binging. They're saying fuck it all the time, and they're reinforcing the bad habits, and they're always looking for a quick fix. And this is the key part, is they're always looking for that quick fix. Now, person B, they're consistently making those small wins, and the best part of that is that they're trusting the process, and they know that long term, if they keep this up and keep it going and don't have a very crazy approach to it, they'll be lean all year round. And that's exactly where I end up now and where all my clients end up. So let's have another little look at some other things that person A will be feeling. Person A is not going to be very happy. Person A is going to be unhappy with how they look, feel, and no doubt they're going to feel very weak and underwhelmed typically with their body and their performance. That's where I was anyway. That's how I felt. Person B, happy, strong, confident. Why? Because they're fueling their bodies correctly. They're eating essentially what they want. They're not really over restricting, and they're not having this massive challenge with themselves and fight with themselves against their fitness, against their nutrition. It's just part of their lifestyle, and that is how you can be lean for life. I think the sort of lasting message here is that the approach can really, like I said, set you up to fail, or it can set you up for success. And if we're constantly looking for quick fixes and we're constantly going into big challenges and going to extremes, we're only going to be setting ourselves up for failure. If we take the sensible, methodical, logical approach and apply that daily and keep making small wins, then you're going to get to where you want to get to, okay, without the extremes, without having to cut and feel like absolute crap. The biggest thing for me that really affected me was, one, I didn't actually look how I wanted to, and two, because I was under eating so much and in this vicious cycle, my performance was shit. I wasn't fueling well through the weeks when I needed to, when I was training hard, and I was over fueling on the weekends when I wasn't training that much, and binging instead, and then feeling sorry for myself and crying and feeling like shit, and then doing it all again and getting stuck in it. So you can get out of it. You don't need to be stuck in this routine. Like I said, Lean for Life nutrition guide, if you want that, it's in the description. If you like the video, obviously hit it a like, subscribe and all the rest of it. If I can say that yet or not, I don't know. It's only 2 videos in. But yeah, appreciate it, guys. If you have any questions as well, obviously just drop me a message. Cheers.